Welcome to R Squared Ranch and our conversation about the value of a brand. We recently decided to brand our horses. The rising costs of horses and the demand of the market in general has us thinking differently than 10 years ago when we started this business. It offers an advanced theft protection opportunity for us. It's humane. It's inexpensive, one of a kind, a walking billboard. We have a huge source of pride. We will always be the first point of contact for all the horses we produce. We have extreme value added by utilizing this old technology, and it's a part of our heritage from the start of this country. Hold on. This technology is as old as cowboys, ranches, rodeo. Let's talk about it's not the old style of burning the skin and flesh. It's about freeze branding, the new technology of freezing the skin to produce a white mark. No pain or flesh is harmed in this process. This process includes freezing the hair follicle so much that it still grows a hair, but it produces a white hair instead of a colored hair, kind of like a gray hair growing in when you get older. So I put that into perspective. Do you allow your vet to do dentals or certain exams? It's no more uncomfortable than a dental exam. It's no more cumbersome than a sunburn. It's no more uncomfortable to your pooch at home than a microchip, and actually easier to perform than a microchip on your horse. It does not damage the skin. It only affects how the hair regrows. It can always be redone as long as you're not moving the brand around. If the hair doesn't grow in white, you can redo it. If you want to change the brand so it doesn't regrow that fur because of some unevenness, you can redo it. So there are options there. I found this relatively inexpensive when I put other costs of the farm into place. The typical cost of a Coggins test has risen in the last couple of years to be around $100. So when you put that into perspective as a yearly maintenance cost of your animal to travel, a one-time cost of $68 approximately for my personal herd is minimal in the whole scheme of performing these other maintenance items. Theft and recovery. Definitely one of our main goals is to make sure that our horses are going to be forever safe. So we have an immediate deterrent. Anyone who comes onto our property, they see this. This will track down our horse. They will avoid that temptation. If it's not on our property, we will be the first point of contact because of our registered brand. It's able to be found. So others are able to utilize this ability for an added value and protection. Within the RMHA association, you can register this brand. It's able to be a second point of reference, a second point of contact to determine, is this the horse somebody says it is? Is this the horse that was lost? Is this the horse that was stolen? So we want to make sure the right horse is identified. Recognition. Like, of course, we want people to see that brand. Hey, that's a pretty brand. It's a pretty brand for Rockies. Now, you don't see that very often. That's going to initiate some conversations with our owners. It's going to give them an opportunity to talk about it. It's going to give us an opportunity to talk about it. Over the last 10 years, we created a brand around marketing, a logo around a business Now our business will be directly linked to the horse itself. So, what does that mean? I think it means that the imitators are now being put out, so snuffed out. So, I mean, there always will be a Rocky out there, but will it have what we strive on producing for our animals, for our customers, our continued efforts to connect with the community? We want to provide a product that is tied to the animal and the success of a new owner. So we want to be able to have that animal hold its mark, for owners to be able to have a product that they are proud of, and not to go out there and just go, oh, a Rocky Mountain horse? Is that from our squared ranch? No, not every Rocky Mountain horse comes from us. So we want to be sure people can see our product and differentiate that from other people's product. Again, when an owner has one of our horses, it's a source of pride. They are going to go out there. They're going to trail ride. Things are going to happen on their trail ride. I want to set them up for success, and I want others to notice that success. Now, I don't want them to just go, oh, you got yourself a good horse. Well, they got themselves a good horse because of the producer, because we put the time and effort into it. Now, what they are not able to do all the time, because these are trail riders, is to go out to a horse show and say, this horse was produced by so and so. We want it to be clear when they look at the horse's brand who produced that horse. That horse is a mark of our success. So, again, not only does it give the owner an opportunity to talk about Rockies and why they are successful, but it gives us a value added to our marketability. Like, this is a reputation mark. I want it maximized. I want it showing and representing us effectively, because a lot of these encounters on the trail are casual. It's a visual representation that people don't even necessarily have to talk about. Someone is going to see it and then investigate it. They don't even have to ask an owner what that means. They can see it and then go forth to investigate on their own. This value is added at a low cost. Horses are permanently traceable, even if their ownership papers are lost. Papers can be burnt in house fires. Papers can be lost in the shuffle of items in someone's house. So if this horse ever moves on to a new owner and a new owner and a new owner, we're going to be able to look at this mark, not only perform maybe a blood test to find out if this horse is registered, but also have a visual that is almost a little bit more simple than performing a blood test and paying X amount of dollars to do that. This visual representation of a brand can help identify that horse. I find that the highest value to some of our owners or our horses that find new owners. We can help provide that information to new owners. Heritage. Obviously, our country was founded by ranchers in the West, producing cattle, producing horses, riding them, moving cattle. Really, a huge part of our history is around being able to identify the animals on the land. Besides that, I have a personal heritage with ranching and farming within my own family. Now, it was different 100 years ago. Maybe people didn't brand in this area like they did out west. There may not have been a lot of ability for my grandpa and grandma to brand their animals in the Great Depression due to income restraints. But as times have changed and I want to be able to be a part of that community and harbor it, not forget the purposes and why we would be branding them. It's important to the horse and the owner, not just to me an identification. It's a new meaning to us here in Wisconsin and to R Squared Ranch. How does it work? So it's a very simple process. There's a different process with lighter colored horses than there are darker colored horses. And here are some examples. It does get quite involved, but it's also very fun. Now, I found that there is some healing involved. There's some different looks that might be kind of worrying at first. First, the brand has a deep indent and the skin is frozen. Then it starts to thaw out and swell. Within a couple of minutes, it's just a red mark and almost disappears. The swelling usually goes away in a few days, and you're ending up with a skin mark that does look a little different. That skin is healing underneath, and you're going to see some of the flakes slough off. Eventually, within a few more weeks, you're going to have the new regrowth come in white as the skin starts to heal and regrow from underneath of those skin flakes and the protection. The freeze branding in itself offers a lot of protection on that base layer of skin that's healing, as opposed to hot iron branding, which would create a giant wound. That concludes our short conversation on branding. Thank you for learning about it. From me at R Squared Ranch, I'm Cassandra Rose.